Hello there, and welcome back to Marks Plays Age of Conan, the strategy board game. We're back for another episode here. I'd love to get this game finished and off my table, because this is taking way too long, but that's okay. I'm mostly enjoying it. I wouldn't say this game is exactly suited for a video like this, but I don't know, so far so good as far as what I wanted out of it. And as with everything I do, it's always a work in progress. I'm winging it as usual. So I'd love to be able to get to a point where I'm not winging it constantly and I'm having a more focused, targeted video series, I guess. But anyway, let's carry on. So the turn passes to the Hyperborean player, and they decide to use the wild die here to advance their troops into Nordheim. They're looking to take over all of the north. So we will start a campaign here. Alright, so I'm running out of room on my board, so I decided to use a new different dice roller here. Anyway, the campaign begins in Nordheim. Here we go. And with how many successes? 2 successes. They're off to a slow start. The defender. I have trouble seeing those. Defender has 1 success. So that is the first phase of the attack successful. They're going to go ahead and force march here. Now they've got 4 dice. They got 3 successes there. Good attack. Oops. And now the defenders of Nordheim, not enough, only 0 defense. So, Nordheim has been subjugated by the powerful Hyperborean horde. Okay, the Turan player gets to roll the fate dice and take their turn. So, I'm going to re-roll that one. Oops. There we go. And that's that. So for their turn, first thing they're going to do is spend the 1 gold to activate Artaban on the table. And then they're going to take an intrigue action and try and sway Conan once again. Okay, so the Turanians are going to use this strategy card. They got a lot of sway here today. And they get 4 dice, and shields and axes count. So right there, they got 3 successes. So Coran's got probably not compelling enough of an argument to dissuade their convincing emissary. So what we've got there is Conan joining sides with the Turanians. Just like that. Oh, that's Zamora. How about Conan? Yes. Okay, over in Stygia, they're looking at a intrigue action this time. They're going to lay off their continued assaults with their armies here. They're pretty poor, so they're going to go out and try and collect some money through some alliances. This guy should actually be here. And there's that. Alright, for Aquilonia, they decide to take a court action here. But before they do that, Conan is going to remain in the steppes here, continuing to face off against the cannibal cult there. And so they collect a token, 2 woman token. 2-point woman token. I have issues about the woman tokens, but we'll get into that some other time. Anyway, with their court action, they're gonna actually have Conan raid once again in Tundra province here. Hyperborea is kind of running away with the points here, so anything that we can do to try and eliminate some of the points and threats they're going to try and do, and Hyperborea is not too happy about it. They've got a bunch of raids that have all been perpetrated by the Aquilonian influence here. Anywho, for their card draw, they're gonna, with their court action, they're gonna draw a kingdom card and a strategy card, and their kingdom card is the Black Legion. So another military base card, which is kind of going against how I'm role-playing the Aquilonians this game, but perhaps later on down the line they might need some more military power, who knows. But as far as it's going now, I'm enjoying how I'm playing the Aquilonians, and I'll probably continue to do so. Okay, up in Hyperborea now. They're going to go ahead and take a court action, and they're going to snag the last Conan token here, adventure token, because they're going to make a big play for Conan to join their side for the next adventure. He's close to where they're looking at doing some advancing. So, yeah. First of all, I'll need to decide what they're going to do with their court action. Alright, so they have decided to play an event card out of their hand, the Visions of Cyclopean Walls. So that's going to allow them to take one of their Conan tokens back into their pool. And so yeah, like I said, they're going for control of Conan. Also, it allows them to draw 2 strategy cards. So we're going to go ahead and start a Conan bid. Alright, here we are. So with the Aquilonians, they decide a basic pass. And as I said, the Hyperboreans are going all out, using their reusable token there, or their reuse token. The Turanians, medium bid, but it's basically a pass. And now the Stygians, yet another pass. So it looks like the Hyperboreans have got their wish, and Conan is in a dangerous position to do some damage for them. Okay, so for Conan's next adventure, we have The Thing in the Crypt over in Bithynia. Conan, fleeing from wolves, finds an ancient crypt where he wrestles a mighty weapon from an undead king's grip. Okay, so for that he has 3 tokens. And he's actually pretty close. He's only in the steps. He's only got Zamora to go through, and then arrives in Bithynia. So Hyperborea should get a nice chunk of tokens this time. Okay, so now for the Turan, they are going to use a wild die to start an intrigue action over in Punt. So they're seeing some Stygian influence trying to go that way, but I think they're going to cut them off and try and convince the Punt tribes to join them instead. So don't forget, the Turan have the Cobra Crown now, so being in possession of that gives them a good advantage in trying to perform some diplomacy in the outlying provinces. So they get an extra dice. So for their first roll, they get 2 successes there. And the defenders, the leaders of Punt, they also get 2 successes. So they have, the Tyrannus failed to convince the Punt tribes to join them. Now Stygia, they're also vying for control of Punt, so they're going to use the wild die to send an emissary into the eastern desert, and then they're going to perform a intrigue contest in Punt as well. Now they only get 3 dice. They don't have a nice powerful artifact like the Cobra Crown. They actually have this sort of Atlantis, which benefits them in military, but they're doing this for the cash. They need some money right now, so they get 3 dice, and with that they get 2 successes. Or sorry, that's only 1 success. And the defenders, 1 success too. So once again, the citizens of Punt are not convinced that they need to join either side. Okay, so the Aquilonians get the final fate dice. It's a military die. And they're going to use it to build up some forces in Argos and Ophir. Just to sort of get a little line of defense going against the Stygian threat here. Okay, so Hyperborea get to roll the fate dice. And they also control Conan, so this puts them in a good advantage. Lots of crown actions, a couple wild and a couple military. Okay, for Hyperborea now. So they're gonna, first of all, move Conan west into Zamora, into the mountains there, and they draw a token here, treasure token. And they're gonna take advantage of having Conan around, so they're gonna steal one of these court actions and move him directly into Brithunia, where his destination marker is, just to ensure that they are going to get that bonus token, because there is a couple other crown tokens, and usually people who don't control Conan have been doing their best to try and snag tokens from the active player. Anyway, they're going to go ahead and place a raid in Nemedia. So hopefully that's just going to deter the Aquilonian expansion into Nemedia there. It's the hardest province to take over in the game, but it looks like Aquilonia is not worried too much about military control at this point. But so yes, the Hyperboreans are going to draw a kingdom card and a strategy card, and they drew a yellow lotus card, which allows them to perform an intrigue action. Okay, so over in Tehran, they're going to go ahead and refocus away from Punt, and they are gonna use this opportunity to snag a token from the adventure track. It's a monster token, and they're gonna use their crown action to play a card, the Harkanian Mercenaries card. Place 2 new army units in Tehran, and then they can take a military action. So some mercenaries get hired in the main province here, and we're going to do some aggressive attack on Zamora here, which is allied with Hyperborea. Kind of a risky move, but we'll see how it ends up. Alright, so the siege on the capital of Zamora begins with 5 dice for the Tehran, and they get 2 successes there. I think they're going to keep it. And the defenders get 4 dice. And only 1 success there. So, with that, the capital is destroyed. And now they may instigate a forced march to start a campaign there. And I think we'll try it for 1. So, and I believe we'll use... Oh, no, we won't use the strategy card yet. Oh, and Tehran gets a Count the Dead token for the destruction of the capital. Anyway, they're going to force march. They get 4 dice. First stage of the campaign. Ooh, that's no hits there. And now the defender. All they needed is 1, or 0 actually. Would have been fine, but that is a loss for the Turanians. So they're going to halt their attack there. Now, while it wasn't completely successful, they didn't take over the province. They did reduce the Hyperborean influence there, so I guess it wasn't a complete failure. Okay, back in Stygia, they're going to snag that last adventure token off the track. It's a woman token. They have the least amount of tokens, so they never pass up that opportunity. And they decide to draw a kingdom card and a strategy card, and they've drawn another Tower of the Serpent, another cult headquarters in the capital of Stygia. Alright, the bid for Conan starts here. Just move my microphone there. So Apollonia, they've got a pass bid. Oh yes, also I'd like to just clear that everyone's used their 4, 5s, and 6 tokens. So if you don't know the rules, the 3 tokens get reused. They never go away. The 4, 5s, and 6s can only be used once until you play the 0 token, and then they get flipped back to their active side and you can reuse them. But anyway, Hyperborea is not willing to reuse their tokens just yet. They're probably going to save it for later in the game. And also, they're kind of indifferent about Conan right now, although they've basically just been using him for raids, and they've got the most tokens, so they're in a good position right now. But anyway, they still have a decent bid with 8 here. Now, Hyperborea, same thing. They're not willing to go too deeply into their Conan influence, so they're just recycling once again, and that's a tie there. As well, they're close behind in the amount of tokens, but like I said, they're probably going to wait till late game and see how they can really use Conan to their advantage at nearing the end of the game. So Tehran, they also use their recycle bid, but they actually squeak out with a higher strategy card here. And I guess they were just planning on, using Conan as people do. They use him and hopefully try to get him to help them out. He hasn't actually helped too many people out. As far as battles are concerned, everyone's been really just trying to snag as many tokens as they can. Anyway, Stygia, they are the only ones who decided to go with the 0 bid, so they get to recycle all their high bid tokens and reuse them. Now they're sitting with the lowest amount of tokens, and with their warmongering like ways, they intend on using Conan hopefully sooner and later. Okay, with his adventure in Bithynia complete, and he's dealt with the thing in the crypt, we have a new adventure now. It is Rogues in the House, in Corinthia, which is literally right next door to the south of Bithynia. Conan is caught in the power struggle between the aristocrat Murillo and Nabonidus, the Red Priest. Alright, so we get 4 tokens on that one. Turan's looking to get some cash. Token cash this time. Alright, so from Apollonia, they decide to use the wild dice here, and are going to send some of their spies north into Samaria and into the border kingdoms. Okay, looking north to Hyperborea. So they're pretty upset about what the Turans did, the Turan pig dogs. So they're going to go ahead with a military action. But at this point, they are only going to increase their legions somewhat. Conan's pretty close, and he's on the Turanian side right now, so probably not a good idea to have to deal with Conan at this point, but we'll just see how that plays out. They definitely got to build up some more hordes. Alright, so now for Tehran. Their first move will be to send Conan directly south into Corinthia. I'm going to collect one of their tokens, a monster token. And seeing the threat levels starting to increase in the north here, they're going to start building up some of their forces as well. So they're going to put some troops in Kauron and in the steppes. Okay, with that, I think we will close out this video for now. So the tension's definitely rising in the mid of the Second Age here. Hyperborea is doing quite a lot of expanding, and their army looks quite menacing up there in the north. Tehran have been kind of doing a balance of diplomacy and military aggression. And so far, I think it's working out quite well for them. I'm almost favoritism on the Turan side. Stygia kind of ran into a wall of expansion. They haven't expanded much since the end of the First Age, just in southern Shem there. And basically just rebuilding their army. They took quite a few losses in the First Age. And Aquilonia have got troops and spies and emissaries spread out all over the lands. And their strategy is not doing too badly either. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more gains from them in the next few turns. So, very interesting so far. And yeah. So I hope you tune in for the next episode. This one turned out to be a good one, I think. And I love this game. I really enjoy playing this all out for everybody. So please tune in for the next one, and thanks for watching. This is Marx signing out with Age of Conan, the strategy board game. Bye-bye.